There are legends that repeat themselves across the world. Stories whispered in different tongues, told beside fires and over creaking porches, yet sharing the same dark heart. In one corner of the world, deep in the misty hills of Appalachia, people speak of restless spirits called haints that claw their way back from the grave. In another, beneath the heavy night of Brazil's countryside, there walks the Corpo Seco, the dry corpse. A man so wicked that even death refused him. But Brazil and Appalachia are not alone. Different lands whisper different names for the same creature, but one fear binds them all. The fear of the soul that cannot rest. Welcome. Step closer. Tonight we follow the trail of the restless dead, stories that have crossed oceans and centuries, whispering the same dark truth. Now let's uncover the legends that even death could not silence. In the interior of Brazil, particularly in states such as São Paulo, Bahia, and Minas Gerais, the legend of the Corpo Seco is well known. They say some people live with such cruelty in their hearts that when death finally comes, even the earth refuses to keep them. Those who harm their parents, mock the church, or take pleasure in others' suffering, when they are buried, the soil splits open, and from it rises the Corpo Seco, the dry corpses of the damned, wandering where the living still breathe. One local version describes how its nails and hair continue to grow after death. The body dried, stretched tight over bones, with long, unkempt hair and nails curling like talons. Witnesses in remote villages say that late at night they hear scratching at the graveyard wall, or a faint moan in the fields near a pond. One old farmer at the Brazilian state, Minas Gerais, swears he saw a thin figure rising from the earth as his lantern flickered. The man's hat tipped back and its face gaunt. Like a skeleton someone dressed in skin, he said. The legend warns, if you beat your mother, your hands will become dry. It's an old saying whispered in the countryside, a warning that cruelty leaves its mark, not only on the soul, but on the flesh. They say those who harm the ones who gave them life will wither from the inside out. Their skin dries, their veins blacken, and when death finally comes, the earth refuses to keep them. The curse of the Corpo Seco is more than superstition. It's a moral judgment written in decay, a reminder that the wicked don't simply die, they rot awake. And far from Brazil, in the hollers of the Appalachians, tales persist of people who died in sin and rose again as restless spirits. They call them haints or the unburied. There is one account from the old backroads of Tennessee. A traveling minister, returning home on horseback after a late sermon, claimed he saw something gliding above the dirt road. A pure white body, he said, floating about a yard above the ground and about the size and length of a weaver's beam. His horse reared in terror. When he steadied the reins, the figure was gone. No one ever learned the preacher's name, but the story outlived him, passed from porch to porch as a warning to night travelers. Another tale comes from the mountains of western North Carolina, near an abandoned mining road outside Asheville. In the winter of 1912, a group of miners walking home before dawn spoke of a pale figure rising from the fog. It moved without sound, dragging no shadow, leaving no footprints in the frost. One man approached, lantern in hand, the light dimmed to a faint ember, and in that breathless silence he swore he heard it whisper his name. By sunrise, the prints of the living were there, but nothing else remained. Here the message is the same. The earth does not always hold those who die unredeemed, and their shadows linger in the night. In medieval Europe, chroniclers record villages where coffins were turned face down, stones placed on graves, and bodies staked to prevent the dead from rising. They told tales of the revenant, which echoed that same core, evil, unquiet, unburied, returning. In the African low country of the Gullah Geechee people, spirits are believed to roam, descendants of the dead who were wronged or who died with grudges. All across the globe, from the forests of Minas Gerais to Appalachian hollows, from European graveyards to African-American low-country porches, the same theme, a soul so burdened that death becomes a road, not a resting place. But how could the same tale survive oceans and ages apart? The legend of the Corpo Seco may have roots in Portuguese folklore brought to Brazil, blended with indigenous and African traditions. In Appalachia, Scottish and Irish settlers brought tales of the unburied, woven with indigenous and African American traditions of spirits that roam. The land, it shaped the story. Maybe we tell these stories not to frighten, but to remember that evil leaves a stain too deep for even the grave to cover. In Brazil, they say the Corpo Seco still wanders its muddy fields, its dry bones dragging through red earth. In the Appalachian nights, some still glimpse shadows moving where no living man should walk. And in every corner of the world where the land remembers the wrongs of the living, folks still pause at dusk and whisper, "Some graves never stay closed." Thank you for venturing beyond the veil with us. If you enjoyed the video, then subscribe and join the watchers. The shadows have more secrets to reveal. Until next time.